All right, let's go ahead and open up questions for head coach Chris Brown.
Guess your overall thoughts on your signing class here as of this afternoon.
When I look at these 2018 signees, I'm very, very pleased with the guys that we got. I feel like it's a very, very talented group of young men, not only on the football field but also in the classroom. I mean, these kids had good ACTs, high GPAs. Young men that are gonna, take care of business in the classroom as well, and are coming here to get their degree. And I'm proud of them. I'm excited about them. I mean, it's a really, really good group that I feel like is going to bond well with our guys as well. They're very good character kids, and we asked a lot of questions about these young men to see who they were, as young men, and just try to make sure we had a good young man coming in here. And everybody said great things about these guys, and I'm really, really excited about this class and the things that they're going to do here in the future.
Obviously, 20 kids from Kansas. What really stood out about this group of kids from Kansas this year?
I just think that they're hardworking kids. There's some talent. They're going to work hard every single day. Most of them came from winning programs, or either played in the state championship or in the playoffs, and won a lot of ball games. Guys that actually know how to win and compete on a daily basis. But I think it's just a group that is very solid. I mean, and they're going to be committed to what we're doing, here at Fort Hays State. They're young men that wanted to be here at Fort Hays State University, and I think that says something big, about these guys. When you want to be somewhere and you're excited about being somewhere, good things happen. And I feel like this is what we have in this group. A group of guys that are excited to be here, that want to compete on a daily basis and want to get their degree and help us keep winning ball games. And I think this group is going to help take us to the next level. And I really feel like this group is an excellent group, and I'm really excited about them.
Any guys on this list that is kind of up in the air, and on maybe you would get them, maybe you wouldn't, and maybe is it a little bit of a surprise that their name shows up here?
A lot of these guys that we recruited, I mean, there's a lot of different schools recruiting them as well, and I was pretty nervous up until last week, midweek. You just some of them committed really early, but you didn't know if something would change as time went on. Someone had many other schools talking to them as well, and I think it just says something about these young men. I mean, they're a group of kids that, when you did look at their academics, they were high. We're talking 3.4, 3.5 kids with high ACT scores, and these are young men that really thought about the process and where they wanted to go to school at. And when you get smart kids like that, they want to make sure it's a great fit for them. It's going to benefit them, and they're going to get the most out of a program. And so those smart kids got to think about those things. So yeah, we were worried about it, and we felt good about they were going to commit to us, but you just never knew. But I feel like we got the kids that we went after, and I feel like we got a very, very good group of kids.
Did you and the coaches experience anything different after an MIAA championship and making the playoffs in the season you guys did? Was there a different reaction from the kids you were trying to recruit?
I think it helped us more than anything just getting different kids in here. Now we're, as you look on here, we got some 6'4", 6'5", some 6-footers, 6-footers. When you look through this whole thing, there's not many guys under 6 foot. I mean, they're big kids. Kids that we're looking for to help us, win conference championships, win national championships. And you got to have long, lean guys. When we went to this recruiting season, I looked at, Ferris State and how are we going to beat Ferris State, and what type of kids would help us beat those type of teams. And we needed some length. We didn't have a very tall team last year. We were a bunch of smaller guys that played hard every single play and played very physical and aggressive and competed every down. And but I just feel like we're lacking a little bit in height and length, and I think this class will bring some of that to our team.
Obviously, Kuhn, you guys obviously were on him a long time ago. K-State, so some other just big names. What was this process to maybe getting Kuhn to this?
I think it was just building that relationship. I think that's the main thing that between Dalton and I, is that we talked a lot. We communicated a lot. I went to a lot of his wrestling tournaments and wrestling duels, and took Coach Harris with me on a few of those. Getting Coach Ike involved as well, our D-line coach, of communicating with him and talking to him, and building a relationship with the dad and all those things. I think that's kind of what it all comes down to, is just the type of relationship that you can build with this young man to be able to trust you and know that you're going to be there for him and make sure you're looking out for him, and then make sure he stays on track to graduate, becomes a great football player, you know, and that he's marketable when he's done here at Fort Hays State, you know, and I think that's what really sold him on Fort Hays State. It was just our relationship and our commitment to one another, and knowing that we're going to be there for him, you know, every minute of the day.
Got to be a pretty special moment to have your own son on this list.
For me, I don't know so much for him, but you know, I'm glad he's here. You know, because if he would have played anywhere else, you know, I wouldn't have the opportunity to watch him play on Saturday. I think he's a young man that's going to compete every single day. He's going to work hard. He wanted to be part, you know, of this program, and I said part of the program. He goes, "Yeah, the program, not you, Dad." But he's just a good kid, you know, and he does well in the classroom, and he likes to compete. And you know, I'm very excited for the opportunity to coach him. The thing is I can't treat him any different than any other kid. You know, I just got to make sure that I have to coach him the same way I coach everybody else. But to have that opportunity is a blessing, and you know, I'm very excited for it, and I can't wait for it to start.
Are there some other kids out there that you guys are potentially still either looking at, in on, that are maybe undecided, whether that's JUCO ranks or high school? Yeah,
there is. You know, there's a few JUCO guys, you know, that we're looking for right now. You know, we definitely need a defensive tackle, you know, to come in and help. I think we need another defensive end, you know, to come in and play for us too, and then possibly an offensive tackle. You know, so you know, we got to keep a little money aside for those guys, because those are definite needs right now. I just don't know if these freshmen will be ready to play, you know, right away. We got to find guys that have played some college football and understand, you know, the physicality of it and the speed of it, and you know, so that's what we're looking for right now. I think if we get those three positions, you know, we're looking for a very good year next year, and you know, if not, hopefully some of these young guys can fill in and play right away. But you know, that's what we're looking for right now.
There's been a lot made of kids on social media over the last several years, and college is starting to take a look at social media pages when they're looking at recruiting kids. Is that something that you guys do as well? I don't have Twitter. I mean, I don't like to look at those things because you just never know what a kid's thinking or what a kid's doing. I mean, there's so much out there for them to look at. I just try to build a relationship with the kid himself through text or through phone calls, and I don't think you can do it through Twitter. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I know guys tweet all kinds of different little things out, but you know, I want to build a relationship with the kid, and I want a kid to be here at Fort Hays because he wants to be here. But you know, I know some of our other coaches do, and you know, just checking on kids to see where they're committing to, where they're not committing to, because sometimes you don't know, because the kid will never call you and tell you that he's committed somewhere, and you're still sitting here waiting on him. So you know, I hopefully someday we can get rid of this Twitter stuff. Hopefully the NCAA just takes it away, you know, because it drives me nuts, because to me it's getting to be too much. And you know, and that's how a lot of guys recruit as well. You know, they just go on to Twitter and see where a kid's committing or being recruited by, then they go recruit that kid as well. So you know, I'd like to get rid of it. You know, make guys get out there and work and get to the grind. Besides, you know, seeing who else is recruiting a kid and try to get on them later.
Obviously, 3 kids from Goddard, really quality kids. Obviously, Blake, one of the only quarterback on the list. What really stood out about those kids? I
mean, they won, and they know how to win games. I mean, they've done it for a few years now. Coach Vang's coached them up very well. They're good kids. I know they're going to be solid kids, you know, character-wise. I know they're going to do well in the classroom, but on the football field, they're very talented too, and they're gritty, and they fight and they compete, you know, every single play. And you know, that credit goes to Coach Vang teaching them those things, you know, as he's been there. But you know, I just feel they're a group of kids that are going to help us win. I think Blake, you know, really at the quarterback position has, you know, does some things that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. You know, he runs very well, and he throws a very good ball. He can extend plays, you know, and make things happen. And you know, I'm excited to get those 3, because you know, when you have that winning attitude, you know, and you bring it, you know, to a university, and we have that here right now, it only, you know, rolls over here, and they know how to work, and they know how to compete, and they know what it takes to win ball games. And you know, I'm glad to get kids like that.
Most every kid you bring into the program, you're looking to redshirt for the most part, it seems. But what about the kickers? You brought 2 kickers in. Are they potentially to compete right away with the graduation of Brown? Yeah,
they are. You know, we need them to come in right away and see who our guy is. And, you know, it puts a lot of stress on Dante if he's got to be the kicker and the punter and be the field goal guy. I mean, that's just too much, you know, for one guy to do. So, you know, one of these young men need to step up and take that job over, and you know, and make it their job. And you know, I think they can. I mean, I think they both got very strong legs. They're both very accurate. on their visit, and I'm excited about them. And it's always good to have a couple guys there to compete against one another. So they'll push one another, they'll make each other better, and Coach Dudley's going to have a tough job of deciding who the guy is, and hopefully one of those guys just kind of takes it over and runs with it.
Obviously, evaluating eight-man guys, it can be challenging. Trail Moorhead transfers in from Dodge. As a coach, what's it like evaluating eight-man?
It's hard, because the game is so much different. The size is so much different. At 8-man, the speed looks like it's pretty fast game when it's out there, but really how does it coincide with our speed, at the college level? I think is the main thing, and can they play at this level? I mean, because it is totally different. Guys are bigger, guys are stronger, guys are faster than what they're probably used to. They've seen some speed, in 8-man football because it is a speed game, but it's still a lot different, once you get to those college ranks of, the speed that's actually on the football field, amongst the whole teams, and it is tough, and Beaverly was one of those guys as well. If it's a kid that can actually dominate, the field continuously, play after play and game after game, he's a pretty good football player. So, and that's what we look for when we recruit those 8-man kids.
Maybe away from the recruiting process for just a second. A lot of people are hearing about Fort Hays State for the very first time with Nathan Shepard getting a combine invite and having some time at the Senior Bowl. Have you had any contact with Nathan recently, or what's that like, having a Fort Hays State Tiger getting national press?
It's awesome, seeing him do those things and getting that kind of press coverage, and that all goes credit to Nate. Haven't had much contact with him with his schedule and my schedule right now, so hopefully now that recruiting's over and he's training every single day. He's taking 15 hours, to graduate in May, so he's pretty busy, doing those things as well. But he's working right now, and Coach Brown's probably the last thing on his mind right now is I need to call Coach Brown. He's just thinking about making himself better, preparing himself for the combine and graduating from school. But I think once things kind of calm down a little bit, get through the combine, we'll have some more communications on what's happening. But it sounds really good for him. People are very, very excited about him. All the scouts are. They know they're going to get a great person, not just a great football player, and that's something they're excited about as well. I mean, he's very articulate. I mean, his interviews were amazing. They loved him in the interviews. His work ethic on the football field they loved. Even though it was individual drills or O-line versus D-line or team sessions, he was 100 miles an hour all the time and played hard all the time. And those are things they're looking for. And he's just a very, very good kid, or not even a kid, large human being. And and he's just, you can't say enough good things about him. I mean, he is the real deal, and he is the total package, and that's what you want every one of your kids to be like.
You talk about character with Nate, and that was your first point. As you talk about character, how important is that to your program? How much do you hang your hat on that it's about character?
That's the most important thing, because if you don't have character, as a young man, I mean, what are you going to do when you get here? I mean, then we're going to have these guys in the locker room causing, distractions. Maybe a guy out in the community doing things the wrong way and making our team look bad, because it only takes one guy, to make a mistake and make your team look bad. Character's huge. I mean, it's who you are and defines who you are, and that's what makes our football team that we have right now. We got really good character kids that do things the right way, that care for one another, that care about the classroom, and if you're smart in the classroom, you're going to be smart on the football field, and that's what we're looking for. But we just got to have if you don't have character, you're not going to be here, and we've had some very, very talented kids on this young team that have been let go because of their character. But to me, it's better to get rid of that one bad link than keep them around and make your program look bad. And but character's who you are, defines who you are, and it's going to take you far in life. If you don't have great character, I don't think you'll ever be anything.
Let's see, taking a statewide scope, Division II's, NAIA's, a ton of Kansas kids. JUCOs again last. Do you think that's more because of their rule as far as JUCOs, or do you think there's other factors involved? I
think so. I mean, now they're more of a, instead of a junior college, community college, it's more of a national search for them now, instead of they could only have so many. And for us, I really think it helps us out tremendously, because they're not recruiting those Kansas kids as hard as they were. Before it was We're recruiting against every JUCO in Kansas. We're recruiting against every D2 in Kansas. We're getting Missouri schools coming in, you know, recruiting these kids as well. So that the heat isn't on these kids as much as it had been in the past. And you know, I think it's really helped us get some of these Kansas kids that we haven't been able to get in the past. And you know, hopefully, you know, they come here and are successful, and kids, you know, below them, you know, the juniors and seniors now see the success that these kids are having here at Fort Hays, you know, want to be a part of that. But you know, it's ongoing. You never know, maybe they'll change it back where they can only have so many out-of-staters, but right now I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
Anything else, guys?
All right, thank you.